What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to a What If edition of the Smark Moment Smack Talk podcast. I'm Tony Mango, joined as always by Robert DeFelice.
Hey.
And today we are doing a sort of a combo. I mean, a lot of the What If things tend to be sort of a combination in that way, but the wrestling with the past, where anything I kind of group together that we talk about old school topics, I kind of lump into that category too. But the what if discussion for this episode is going to be, what if there were always mid-card titles for the women's division in WWE? By that, I mean, we recently got the WWE Women's United States Championship and the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. So now we know that it's at least not just fantasy booking in that way. They're reality. They're there. They will always have been there, at least from this point. They might get rid of them in the future. We don't know how long they're going to stick around. But, you know, it's an interesting thing to think about. And we've done a lot of what if things in the past, of what if gimmicks that are there now had always applied. Like, what if there were always 2 nights of WrestleMania? What would have been the main event for night 1? What if there had been, you know, previous King of the Ring winners on the years that there weren't King of the Rings? What if, you know, we have everything along those lines. And we're always interested in more topics too. So if you have anything like that in mind, let us know. But since these are pretty new belts and we finally have some chance to talk about this topic or whatever, let's talk about it. So as we do that, we always want to know what you guys have to say. So drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure that you are chiming in on Facebook, on Twitter, on Discord. If you want to hop over there, go ahead and chat it up on any of those channels. If you are on YouTube in particular, make sure that you also hit the like button, subscribe, ring the notification bell, click on the thanks button, toss a little spare change our way. Click on the join button, get access to the same stuff as the Patreon. You got the Darkcast tier, the Pick a Poison tier, so on and so forth. And Redbubble and TeePublic is where you can pick up merchandise. So if you want to pick up a shirt or a hat or stickers or something like that, all that is greatly appreciated, and all that money funnels back into me being able to do this stuff and pay for these things. So with the what if thing, by the way, if you are interested in the Darkcast here, everybody, there's an extra little mock draft that's out there. I am going to switch us over actually to SmackDown Hotel on their roster page. They have a great roster page. Shout out to them. They go to put a lot of effort into that stuff. And we're actually going to go by era in, I don't know exactly what way, because we were kind of doing this on the fly. We didn't really have a plan.
I think you have to start with, at best, Attitude Era.
Well, looking at this, like this CWC era, you know, old school, obviously there wouldn't be women's mid-card champions, because there wasn't really much of a division. There was one champion. That's it. That goes for years and years and years.
They were the ladies wrestling champion.
Yeah. Same with like the old WWF, you know, all these people that we are going to be able to see in that Queen of the Ring movie that's coming out and all. That stuff just didn't exist. So there really isn't anything to talk about, because not only is there not anything really like to sink your teeth into for the roster, it's also just like, you know, we don't go back and watch all that stuff. We're not going to be like, oh, they would have gone out of their way to really sign this talent. I don't know any of those people. So all those eras really, look, they barely had one women's division champion. They certainly weren't going to have 2.
So now, the question then becomes, where do you think you could have inserted a women's mid-card championship? Because even if you go as recently as the new gen, like,
you basically can't. Like right now, I have on the screen the golden era, and it's like, if you look at this, there's only, how many women are on here? It's like 12, like 15 or so. And that's counting people that, like Linda McMahon, like, no, she wouldn't be a part of that. Miss Elizabeth did not wrestle.
Neither did Missy Hyatt.
Missy Hyatt didn't wrestle.
There's a couple
Sherry
of Japanese
didn't
names,
wrestle all the time.
but Sherry is the one name who would.
She certainly would have. If they would have had a second championship, she would have been holding it.
It would have been Sherry holding that because Moolah refuses to give up the other one.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, you throw a couple of the women's talent in here and, you know, maybe they would have done something more and maybe we would have had Wendy Richter win a mid-card title at some point, Rock and Robin, you know, the two top baby faces, that kind of thing. But again, it's like, okay, even in the golden era there, you can't really talk about it being like that. So you go to New Gen, and New Gen does have some more names, but it still isn't really a division. Alundra Blaze fights Bertha Faye. Alundra Blaze fights Bull Nakano. Alundra Blaze fights Leilani Kai. They basically just brought people in to fight Alundra Blaze for a few years. And then they reached a point where they decided, well, we want Sable to do something. And we got China. But that's a little bit after this, too. Because look at this list, too. At this point, Sherry's not wrestling. Sunny doesn't wrestle. Mike McGurk is not a wrestler. She is on the broadcast team. Terry Runnels is off on the sideline, sucking on a cigar and just being a hot valet. Luna was wrestling.
You had Luna, you have Luna, you have Bertha, you have Bull Nakano, and Alundra Blaze. That's not enough.
It's not enough to have two titles.
And also, I think Bertha and Luna don't touch eras. You know what I mean? Like, I think Luna's gone by the time they bring Bertha in.
I don't remember exactly for sure, but if they did, I don't remember them really interacting.
Yeah, they definitely didn't, because Luna disappears around September, October-ish, because they just dropped the angle with her and Bam Bam, because Bam Bam takes the money, goes with DiBiase, and then you just don't see Luna ever again until she comes back in 98.
So it's like, if they were to try to force a second title in here, I think, honestly, and this is like just a shot in the dark thing, I think they could have maybe ended up making it more so Blaze is the wrestling champion, and then somebody like Sunny, Sable, Marlena are like the Divas champion, and they're more just like, I don't know, awarded a championship for being hot or something. Like, they did not care about women's wrestling. They had the women out there to do things like Sunny was like refereeing the minis and, you know, hawking t-shirts with Todd Pettengill and all. This was not a wrestling division. So then you go to the Attitude Era, and now you start to get some more people involved. So even still, this is not a huge division.
Right. And we're taking liberties here with like who was where in what era.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, yeah, Lita could have been a good women's Intercontinental champion. But no one will dispute that. So could have Tori or Jackie. Actually, if I had to guess, I'd guess you start it with Jackie and you kind of work around that.
I mean, out of this group, for anybody that's listening to the podcast version, there are about 20 or so names that are on here, maybe a little bit more. You got people like BB. No. Would not have won a championship. There would have been bigger fish to fry.
What does that stand for?
Barbara Bush.
Oh, nice.
I believe it was Barbara Bush, wasn't it? Let me see. Yeah, Barbara Bush. But she also went by Papaya Cousin Brandy May. You've got a typo there. Kasween. Kasween Brandy May.
Try the papayas. They're juicy and full of papaya.
Yeah, so she went by a couple different names. China absolutely would have held a championship. Now,
I mean, she held the men's Intercontinental.
Yeah, it's like that's a given. So there's you know, what's really what we could talk about there. Deborah, maybe.
No.
I could see. I mean, they gave
Full
Jillian Hall a title for a minute.
Yeah, but that was, remember, the Divas Championship really became like just a pretty symbol of that era, and it was almost like you get a run with the title no matter what. So if they found out you were leaving, you were going to hold it for 25 seconds.
Funny enough, I think that they would have given a women's mid-card, which let's just say that it was like either the Divas title or if it was like they would have gone with Intercontinental. One of those two. It wouldn't have been United States. They would have probably given that at some point to either Moolah or Mae Young. They loved doing angles with them, and they actually did enough like action that they certainly would have won that belt at least at one point and then just dropped it like the next week or something.
You know, if I had my pick, I always preferred Mae to Moolah. Mae always seemed more fun, and
same here.
By all accounts, seemed to be a legitimately tough
Yeah.
woman. And I mean, my God, wasn't there? Do you remember like when she was unfortunately passing? Like there was a moment where like, oh, she's gone, and then they're like, no, wait, she's still alive. It was like,
I don't remember that, but that sounds pretty awesome.
Badass Mae Young is. So like, if I had to pick between those two, I'm giving it to Mae.
Absolutely. I love the story with her and Bubba Ray, and her being like, "You better fucking kill me in this."
Drive me down like you would one of the men. I would come back here and beat the shit out of you. Like, yeah, okay, thank you, you sweet 70-year-old lady.
Like, I can't do that shit today. I can't, and she's doing that. She's like 80 or whatever. Ivory, yeah, 100%. Jacqueline, yeah. Jazz, yeah. Kat, I don't think so.
No.
Lita for sure. Molly Holly for sure.
Molly Holly probably would have been like a benchmark.
She's probably been like the go-to option for that, to just like carry that forever. Nicole Bass, no. I don't think Ryan Shamrock would have won it.
I don't think she ever wrestled. Sable might have.
Maybe, but I could also see that being a scenario where it would be like, oh, well, she's already too big of a name. We don't want to put her down to that lower level, you know?
There's Undertaker's wife, Sarah, is here because of her involvement in the 2001 storyline. And I have nothing to say about Sarah except, my God, the Undertaker has a type.
He really does, doesn't he? Charmel wasn't wrestling, though. Stacy was there to just be eye candy. Maybe they would have done something weird, but I don't think so. Stephanie was champion at some point.
Maybe getting it as like a, whatever run, even if it's for 5 minutes, just to get some heat on her.
Mm-hmm. Sunny, I don't think so.
Nah.
Not unless it would have been like, if it was always around and you go back to the new gen and you carry that into the Attitude Era, then maybe she would have, but I don't think so. Tori, same thing?
Tori, yes.
Tori probably would have, yeah.
Tori Wilson. Now, yeah, I'm going to be specific here. If we go for around the 2004-2005 Ruthless Aggression time, I think Tori's absolutely the United States champion because she was always on the posters as like the All-American girl.
Yeah.
So I think she would have gotten that belt no matter how short of a reign, just for the visuals.
And Trish, of course, Trish.
Yeah, Trish would have had it.
At one point was, holding the championship more than anybody else.
Now.
She really, I thought that they were going to do something with her and Chelsea for Elimination Chamber.
Well. I'm surprised they're doing her and Tiffany.
I'm like pre-writing that up essentially in my brain, and then they end up having her with Tiffany Stratton against Candice and Nia. I'm like, well, okay, well, it's something, but that's weird. So then going to the Attitude Era, we were just on the Attitude Era. Ruthless Aggression Era. Switching over to the women. Wait, who's this dude? Antonio? Who's this guy?
Oh, he's one of the heartthrobs.
Memorable.
Antonio, Antonio and Romeo, they were the heartthrobs.
I guess that's still when I wasn't watching it.
They were not the dicks.
One of the many different versions.
Although, if they would have had like a Survivor Series team with the dicks, they could have been the Throbbing Dicks.
Well, now I might as well just get the Time Machine Dream Team graphic up. Vince is going to be like so upset if he ever hears that and goes, "Oh, I could have booked that, damn it."
The Throbbing Dicks.
So, Ruthless Aggression, look at how big this opens it up for.
Right.
Like crazy.
And to be clear, like, we're doing this very freeform.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the wide breadth of the Ruthless Aggression. So it's covering like that 2002 early days to like 2009.
Yeah.
So you have everybody here from, you know, Ivory still here, all the way to, you know,
Mama Benjamin, and, you know. So let's just kind of go a little bit like one by one, I guess. Alicia Fox, definitely.
At some point, yes.
Now, whether that's the Ruthless Aggression era or what eras are they constituting? The PG, reality, and the new era. So
PG probably would have been where she gets it. She was the really only black woman to hold the Divas title. Is insane.
Was she really?
Yep.
That's nuts.
That's the see when you're not thinking about it, that's the kind of statistic someone will hit you with, and you go, "Oh man, maybe we do need to sit down and think about that for a minute."
But then it's also hard to go, okay, but that's just the Divas Championship. They did have the Women's Championship, and then, you know, Jacqueline and I think Jazz won that title.
Jacqueline
right?
and Jazz, yeah. You do
so it's like when you like thin everything out by having too many goddamn titles.
But when you think about the idea that the Divas Championship was around for a good, 9 years before they scrapped it? Maybe 8. But still, like...
It's still crazy that there wasn't a single other black woman.
Yeah, like, you didn't give it to Naomi. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
now, the picture for Alicia Fox used here, this kind of makes me think that this was just the era where she was with, like, DJ Gabriel.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
So, yeah, she wouldn't have won this necessarily in the Ruthless Aggression era, but Alicia Fox definitely would have won, especially if you get to the point where there's two. If there's like the brand split going on and we have the Women's Intercontinental and the Women's United States titles and 2 world titles, 4 championships on the line instead of just 1, Fox definitely would have won. At least 1, if not 2. Maybe even all 4 at some point. Amy Weber, I don't think so. But to be honest, she was around when I wasn't really watching, so.
Amy Weber was around for like a month. Granted, she was in the WWE Championship storyline for that month, but it was a month.
Yeah.
She was JBL's press secretary? Question mark? She's in JBL's cabinet, which nobody remembers.
Yeah. Ashley Massaro, 100%.
Yeah.
Beth Phoenix, 100%.
Beth Phoenix would have been like a 500-day IC champion.
Yep. Brooke Adams, I don't think so.
Nah.
She didn't really start to become like, oh, you can try to take me seriously until she went to TNA. And even then, yeah, it's TNA. Candice Michelle, definitely. Carmella, I would say no.
No, I mean, she was the runner-up in the first Diva search. She did a Palo fight, question mark, with Christy Hemme at Taboo Tuesday, and then disappeared.
Cherry, I don't think so.
No, please.
Please. If she wrestled at all, I don't remember it.
She did. Let me tell you why I know she wrestled. I don't remember any of her matches, but I remember I was in high school at the time, and the girl I was dating had a younger brother that was into wrestling and insisted that her name was Cherry Cherry because she teamed a couple times with Kelly. And that is outside of the the 50s sock hop thing. That is the memory I have of Cherry.
Cherry. Christy Hemme, I don't know.
No. Because I don't really like. She does get a women's championship at WrestleMania, but to be clear, that is simply because Lita could not, and she was the closest available redhead on Raw.
Did she ever win a title in TNA?
No. The only thing I remember her doing in TNA besides ring announcing was managing the Rock and Rave infection.
Yeah.
And
infection.
Wait, did she did wrestle for a while because it was the 2000s kids, and wasn't she doing a move called the Flaming Fire Crotch?
See, I don't know much about Hemme. I only started to get back into wrestling.
I will feel awful if I got that wrong.
Since I only started to get back into wrestling, I had that like 6-year gap from like 2000 to 2006 where I wasn't really watching. There's a big gap of like people that maybe they did some other stuff and I am unaware of it. As far as like my point of view of who and what the career of Christy Hemme was, she exists in my brain as just the hot redhead that had the Rock and Rave infection thing.
Okay,
like,
so according to fandom.com, one of her finishing moves was the FFG, the Flying Fire Crotch Guillotine.
All right, so you're right.
I didn't make that up. It was the 2000s. Lindsay Lohan had said that, or there was something related to Lindsay Lohan, and then Fire Crotch became a thing that people said for 6 months. You can't make this up, folks.
Hemme was really hot, though, so I could see them in an era where they have 4 championships. I could see them giving one of them to Hemme.
That's true. I can't think about, like, I'm having a hard time putting today's booking into the back then mindset, because at that point they were only giving the women 5 minutes at most. Mm-hmm. So the idea of having like 4 championships, it doesn't feel like it's a thing that they would do.
And that's like one of the things that comes along with this is we're fantasy booking this with today's mentality and kind of backtracking it. If they would go back in time and actually have these, they would have booked these the way that they booked the women back then. So it would have been, if you have 4 women's champions back then, they would have amounted to a grand total of probably 15 minutes on the entire week.
Right. Like, to be clear, back then, if women were going to get a second title, it was going to be like the Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Golden Polka Dot Bikini Trophy or something. Like,
right. It would be like a championship that they would give to whoever wins like the dance competition shit.
Right. Like they have their own version of the hardcore title, which is the extreme title, but it's like triple X. you know, it's like, no, that's like softcore. No. I think I said triple extreme, but like, don't say
we're in the middle of the Flaming Fire Crotch discussions.
That's a softcore. That's terrible.
They would have just gone with like all sorts of different things. It would have been the tag titles. They would have called it the orgy or something. No. Like, you know.
No, come on. It would have been tasteful. It would have been like God, I can't think. I'm trying to put myself in the mind of
they have the Bukkake brawl, like, you know.
Jesus Christ. No.
You know, shit would have happened, but I think that they would have potentially given Hemme a championship. If they have 4 titles, I think they probably would have. Dawn Marie, I don't know. She was pretty much out when I started watching again.
Maybe,
but she was really prominently used, right?
Feuded with Tori over the U.S. title and her father. You know, when you start talking again, it's just like you start going, it's really bad. Like,
oh, it sucked. Yeah. Eve at some point, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, she won the, women's championship or
Like
the Divas
3
title or
times,
whatever. So
yeah.
pretty much if you became champion when there was only one title, I
You were
feel
gonna
like
get one of these.
you're essentially guaranteed to have won that. Francine, I don't think so.
No.
Gail Kim, yes.
I will go as far as say Gail Kim, if there were women's mid-card championships and you could apply some of today's booking, I don't think she ever leaves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing that they didn't just utilize her because she was one of the few that could actually wrestle. And I don't get it either because it's like she could wrestle. That's a positive. In no way is that a negative. Now you can say, okay, well, in this era, people are only really watching the women because they think that they're hot and we base them on sex appeal. Look at Gail Kim. Like, what are you thinking, Vince?
Well,
that story from, it was JR is talking about like how Vince was like, it had to be explained that Asian porn is a thing, and it's like, how would you have to be explained that an entire ethnic background can be considered attractive? It's fucking bonkers.
Like that one Family Guy episode where Quagmire discovers the internet and then just stays in his house for months. It feels like that when you describe that story to me, and I've never heard JR say that, but that's amazing and bizarre, but it feels like that. But
so crazy to me. Like that, just fundamentally, that's just like, it shows how insane Vince McMahon is.
I mean, well, like, let's be clear, the man is a horrible sexual deviant.
Yep.
And I think, if anything, we're learning that where he is now, there's a good example as to why women never got opportunities except for like 5 minutes on the show and on panties matches and pudding pillow fights and shit.
God knows the amount of stories that we're never going to find out.
All in due time.
But Gail Kim absolutely would have won a mid-card title. I don't know who Hiroko is.
She's Kendo Suzuki's wife. And she's not winning anything.
I doubt it. Ivory, we mentioned Jacqueline Jillian Hall would have probably mid-card title.
She would have competed for it. I don't know if she would have won it.
I think that they would have gotten into the idea of like, we're going to have like a more solid champion, and then Jillian's going to be another champion option. So let's make sure that she's like the annoying champion type. You know, like every once in a while we'll have like a monster heel, and then we'll also have like a weasel heel or something.
What company was it that had the championship that it was like, all right, maybe I'm thinking of the King of Pro Wrestling thing in New Japan, where it's like, all right, I get to set the stipulation, because that would have been a fun gimmick for women of this era. A championship where like it's almost like dealer's choice. Like
Extreme Rules. You can
kind of, but like
this one's going to be defended in a
right, but like it gives you the leeway of being like, Beth can be a super wrestling champion, or Jillian can be like, I'm only defending singing contests.
Mm-hmm. We're going to do an athletic competition, and it's going to be like whoever can do the most cartwheels or something.
Right. Like
yeah.
I think that would have been an interesting take on a mid-card title for the women of this era.
That would have been a lot of fun. I mean, that could have been the Divas Championship, and that, who's the biggest diva?
I think it still should be. Like, to be clear, I do think there's equity in the name Divas, and I think you could bring back that belt, but whatever, that's a different story.
I mean, that would be a fun way to do effectively a hardcore title.
Right.
And like you call it the Divas title, and you go, okay, this is about ego, and it's about like self-promotion and, kind of like diva attitude, not being wrestling. The only thing that's different about that is, well, then at some point you go, well, then why is this on a wrestling show and not like a reality competition?
Because different strokes for different folks, and I think there's something there. You know,
Mhm.
I do miss bits and pieces of the divas stuff. Like I miss when it felt like, you know, wrestling was a bit more of a variety show, because I love, obviously my thing is first and foremost matches, but I do think that there's some people who are much better characters than
Yeah.
they are wrestlers. Like, and I think that they don't get the chance to flex that because it's very wrestling focused right now.
If they didn't have the Queen of the Ring, I'd be like, man, if you don't want to have it be like a wrestling belt, call it like the Divas Crown and have them wear like a tiara or something.
I was just thinking about Ariana Grace.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that, a great example of someone who could benefit from a different kind of title. And I actually think they did do that in FCW.
Oh, that's right. Didn't they have like a Queen of
There was like a
FCW thing or something?
Queen of FCW. So it's like they had these ideas. They just didn't implement them on the shows that counted.
I mean, I even like when they do things like, did you watch LFG?
Not yet.
So
is it worth it?
Actually, I thought it was pretty decent. Yeah. And talk about it a little bit
like
on
the voice. They didn't really do a good job of explaining that.
Yeah.
Like Booker and Bubba and Taker and Mickey were gonna have.
There's a competitive
teams.
aspect of it. Yeah, it's like, they really didn't showcase they didn't pick the teams yet. Only 2 people are associated with somebody at this point. But there's a moment in there where Troy Yearwood, I think is his name, he talks about how like he doesn't really know how to cut a promo, but he is really good at like the athletic side of things. And he shows off the Performance Center board, and he's gotten like the #1 rank on like so many categories now. And like you can see on the thing that there's like Ivar's name is still listed on certain things, and like Montez Ford and, you know, Bianca Belair and like these different people that have, you know, Braun Breaker, like, and I'm like, man, I liked that combine thing. I thought that shit's like, I don't love sports in any way. I don't watch any sports, but when it comes to like seeing the Performance Center aspect of that, I wish that they would show that shit more often. I want to see if Bailey Humphrey has like the biggest like squat record, or if like I want to see footage of Ivar hitting the long jump or whatever the fuck it was and be like, dude, how did that happen? You know? So it would have been cool to see like some kind of, you know, Divas Championship crown or something like under that kind of role. And Jillian would have been a really great character to do that with. Joy Giovanni? I don't think so.
Like Amy Weather, she was around for a month. WWE Championship storyline for a month, but around for a month.
And it's so funny when you look at the big groups of people like this and you're like, all right, so you were hired because they were like, well, she's hot. What can we do with her? Not much.
Well,
all right, well, then they got rid of her.
I imagine that she and Amy Weather were like Diva Search leftovers.
Most likely. Or they just found them in like some modeling catalog or something like that, you know. Katie Lee Burchill, I think that she probably would have.
You know, I don't want to spend too much more time talking about the depravities of what Vince McMahon, but that angle got quashed real quick, didn't it? Were you watching?
Yeah, better heads prevailed.
Yeah. Okay. Like,
I wasn't watching Pirate Paul Burchill, but
did you?
Paul Burchill and Katie Lee,
incest brother Burchill.
Yeah, I was very confused about what was happening there. It's like, wait, so they're brother and sister, right? Why is she like holding him the way, like, yeah, is that, are we talking about some like Wanda and Quicksilver from the Ultimate Marvel side of things? Yeah. But yeah, Katie Lee, I think she probably would have won a mid-card title. Kelly Kelly, of course.
Kelly definitely would have.
Yeah. Crystal, I don't think so.
Nah. Lauren Jones, I don't even know who that is.
I don't know who she was either. I was going to say that she was maybe like an interviewer or something, but they don't have the little icon for that. What did she end up doing? Um, and she's labeled as a face for like a 4 or 5 month period.
Hold on.
She's an
Go
actor or manager. Go back to what?
Go back up. Was there like... So she's only 42 now. So when she was on the show, she's
22.
22, 23. I don't know who that is at all. Like, I've never seen that person.
No idea. Layla definitely would have.
Yeah.
Lena Yada, I don't think so.
She's just a ring announcer, isn't she?
I think she had wrestled just a tiny bit on ECW. Yeah, part-time wrestler.
Wow.
Part of like ECW, I think. I think it was one of those things where it was like they hired her to be like, well, what can we do with you? Can you be a ring announcer? Can you be an interviewer? Can you wrestle? Can you whatever? Okay, well, you can't really do any of those, so we're going to let you go. Lillian, of course, wouldn't have. We already talked about Mama Benjamin. No.
Yeah.
I don't think they would have given a belt to Mama Benjamin.
That was the time. Maria would have gotten a nice little roll-up victory.
She would have won that title, yeah. Maurice, 100%. Melina, 100%. Michelle McCool, 100%. Mickey James, 100%. Jackie Gata, I think, would have.
Maybe. Depends on what year we're talking. Depends on what she's doing.
Molly Hollywood talked about Natty naturally. Nydia, I don't think so.
You say Natty naturally, but if you think about the history of Natalya, that poor woman has had 2 title runs. She deserves more.
Only 2? Has it been only 2?
I don't think I'm wrong.
Let's see here. Do they have their 1 Divas Championship, 1 SmackDown Women's title, 1 Tag Team title with Tamina? That's it?
Told you.
Oh my god. That's fucking criminal.
Go to Cage Match and see how long she held those titles.
Oh, I'm sure they weren't long at all.
Like, Natty deserves a run with that women's IC belt now.
That is criminal. Look, Natty is not... I think at no point did I think that Natty was like the best woman on the route. Like, look how much she's changed over the years too. All the plastic surgery and stuff. I never really thought that she was like the best woman on the roster most of the time, but like for the longevity alone and being Natty Neidhart and never wavering to sign the company.
There was a time where when she won that Divas title, it was like, and it's almost criminally cringe to try to explain to younger fans, where it's just like when Natty won the Divas title when I was like 16, 17, it was like, oh my god, women's wrestling is thriving. It's like, fuck yeah. Like, it's sad.
Crazy. Nydia, though, I don't think Nydia would have.
Nah.
Queen Charmel, no.
Only if it's to match. If Booker gets the IC belt and she gets the IC belt, or vice versa.
Rebecca DiPietro, I don't know her.
Never heard that name in my life.
Rochelle Lowen, I don't know.
Never heard that name in my life.
Rude Debona, don't know her. Is she just like an interviewer? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, don't know her. Shaniqua, no, I don't think she would have.
Nah. Neither would Shelly
Martinez, I don't think so. They never really seemed to have a whole lot of faith in her.
Ariel, right? They didn't call her Shelly Martinez, did they?
No, I think they only just called her Ariel. I don't know why she's listed as Shelly Martinez.
Stacey Keebler, we talked about.
Talked about most of the... Tiffany, yes.
Tiffany was insatiable. She could not get enough.
She needed a man or a boy. It was a boy, I think, in the theme, right? I gotta have a boy or something. Fucking terrible theme. I'd rather listen to the like not listen to it, like, you know, have in the background, but like realistically, if I were a wrestler, I would rather have the Right to Censor theme than to have Tiffany's theme. You know, it was so condescending, the fucking theme. Trinity's a no.
Nah. Vicky Guerrero would have.
Vicky Guerrero at one point probably would have. Yeah.
And Victoria absolutely would have.
Victoria 100%, yeah. So that's Ruthless Aggression. So PG era. A lot of the same names are going to be popping up. AJ Lee, obviously.
Yep.
Oksana,
absolutely not.
I don't think so.
No.
But you know what? It wouldn't shock me if during that era, if they would have given her that and it would have sucked. Because there are champions that when we look back at like Intercontinental champions and we're like, they really gave that belt to so-and-so, but they didn't give it to blah, blah, blah. Like you think back and you go like, okay, well, who's more likely to have been Intercontinental champion? Jake the Snake Roberts or A-Train? And you're like, that's A-Train. You know?
Yeah.
Or like, you know, David Otunga has a championship to his name and Jake Roberts doesn't. Bam Bam Bigelow never won a title, but fucking Darren Young did. Like, so I could see maybe Oksana, but that's a maybe. Bliss, obviously 100%. No questions whatsoever. Audrey Marie, not a chance. She didn't make it out of NXT.
Bailey should be the women's Intercontinental champion soon.
She's a guarantee. Becky Lynch is a guarantee. I think the
Bella
Twins.
Bella, absolutely.
Bella Twins are the poster children for if they would have had tag titles. 100% they would have given them to Cameron.
I'm gonna actually say no.
That's up for debate, I think. Eventually, she got to a point where I could potentially see it, but that's still not a guarantee by any means. Mostly during the time frame that the PG era is going on, she's pretty much like Funkadactyl and all. She wouldn't have then. But maybe when she came back and like had her own separate thing, maybe. I don't know. Charlotte, obviously, yes.
Yeah, it's a matter of time.
Yeah. Devin Taylor, no. She was mostly just a ring announcer. Eden, Brandy Rhodes, no. Emma, yeah. Popping those bubbles.
Does anything else come into your mind when you think of Emma?
I tend to think Emelina and that awful angle that after like 17 weeks, they were like, yeah, actually, never mind. And I think about her getting fired for stealing the phone case. Yeah, she would have won that.
Yeah, and she wouldn't have had to steal it.
No. Eva Marie.
Yes.
That's tough. I could see them giving her a championship and being like, let's just see what happens here. If they have 4 titles, they probably would have, yeah. JoJo didn't wrestle, I don't think. Caitlyn definitely would have. Again, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you know, somebody like Caitlyn won the main championship, so of course she would have potentially won a mid-card title. Kendall Sky wouldn't have. She never got out of NXT. Karma, I mean, she was in there for a minute. So
yeah, but if we assume all things went well, like she'd still be there today, I think.
If things would have went well the way that her track record did and all, she would have won the women's title. Like, unquestionably.
I mean, Freddie Prinze Jr. has said multiple times he was tasked with, hey, get me to WrestleMania with Beth and Karma.
Such a shame. What if that, like, that should have happened? Yeah. Lana, yeah, I think so. Between the time frames that she was there, I think she would have won a mid-card title once.
Lana is the best. Lana #1.
Layla, we already mentioned. Linda, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Mary Menounos was not a wrestler, so no. She did wrestle the Mania, but still doesn't count. Maxine, I think Maxine had a chance.
Underrated as all hell. Yeah.
Naomi, yeah.
Absolutely.
Nikki, we already mentioned, yeah. Paige,
yeah.
Paige, yeah. I'm most likely.
Paige, yeah.
Raquel Diaz, aka Shaw Guerrero, no.
Probably not. You just give him the track record.
Yeah. Renee Young didn't wrestle, so no. Rosa Mendez, no. Because Rosa ended up going out of her career being like, my dream is to win a match.
That's so sad.
As far as I'm aware, she did not ever win a match.
That's insane. There's no way that she didn't at least get one recorded victory. Even if it's not recorded, she had to get a pinfall.
And Rosa was there so she joined OVW in 2006 and she didn't get released until 2017. She was there for 11 years in the company. And I, like, for the longest time, I remember being like, why is Rosa still on the roster? Like, they clearly do not value this woman in any way, and she's never utilized. Let me see if she won anything in World Wrestling Entertainment. So Mendez, is there anything on here where she's on the winning side? So she won a 6-woman tag on a live house show in Dublin, which I'm sure she didn't get the pin. And fuck, is that it?
Oh, that's so sad. I guess like the answer is a clear no for this one.
Well, she and Caitlyn and Alicia Fox and Oksana and Summer Rae won a big tag match on Raw against Cameron, Naomi, Belle Twins, and Eva Marie. What?
Well,
which again, Caitlyn or Fox or somebody.
The Doldrums.
I think that's it.
Look, I know people love the Divas era. I'm not knocking the Divas era. But like these matches are not great.
What are her statistics? Yeah, look at these. She has one win in 2013, 2 wins in 2014, 1 in 2015, and these are, counting outside of the company as well. So awful. So no, realistically, she still probably wouldn't have, if they gave her that few, like they valued her that low, she wouldn't have. She would have been somebody challenging and getting beaten. Sasha Banks, obviously, yes. I don't think Savannah ever wrestled. If she did, I don't remember. But no. Serena Deeb, realistically, no.
I could see it, but
keep in mind, like it's not Serena from AEW. It's Serena from WWE, where she shaves her head and they fire
her. Well, then no.
Sophia Cortez. Who's Sophia? Oh, that's Ivelisse, right?
Ivelisse.
Yeah, so no, she never really got anywhere in WWE. Summer Rae, I think, probably would have. They liked Summer for a little bit.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And she's a better in-ring wrestler than, I don't want to say most, but
some people, at least.
Yeah.
Tamina. Man, Tamina would have won one of these.
You'd hope. Yeah, I would like to.
You'd hope. That's still in question. Like, poor Tamina, man.
Well, no, you'd hope. Like, I think she deserves it. I think there's some fun stories that could have been told, but, look at how this company did her when she was wrestling.
I wonder if she is still technically under the roster at some page. Like, she's on the roster page, I think, but like, I wonder how they would classify her, you know?
Well, she's still getting in the video games.
So they just like paying her to do nothing just because they
Probably,
have her at like
on a Legends deal.
Crazy. A lot of the same names carry over into the reality era, but there are still some new ones. Aaliyah.
Aaliyah.
That's tough.
No, it's not. What the fuck?
They gave her a few wins here and there when she came up to the main roster. And like, it seemed like they wanted to do something with her a little bit, but they really didn't put a whole lot behind her. And if they would have cared enough, she would have at least been fighting for the championship and losing. So probably not. But then again, if you're in an era where there's 4 championships, maybe they come around to it. Asuka's a guarantee, obviously. Same as like everybody else we keep talking about. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, might as well just loop them together here.
Billie Kay.
I don't remember how everything goes. Billie Kay. Just everybody starts off. Blue pants.
Well, you know, I'm going to say yes because she needs a blue belt to hold up the blue pants.
Blue pants wouldn't have.
No,
now, red, white, and blue pants might have.
Well, that's why you think they have a United States championship.
Yeah. One of my more favorite stupid fantasy booking ideas. Lana against red, white, and blue pants.
And like the thing is that was so stupid, right? And now we're in a world where they want to do red, white, and blue land. Like, what are we doing here?
I don't think Billie Kay and Peyton Royce would have, realistically.
I think they could have had like almost like a Lay Cool story with it.
Maybe. They were well liked enough. If they would have had the tag team titles around a little bit longer, I think they would have been a more prominent deal. Carmella, yes. Dana Brooke, I'm going to go say yeah.
I would also say yes.
I think Sonya. She listed here as Daria Baronato before she had her ring name and all. I think Sonya absolutely would have. That sucks that they fire her right when they finally have an opportunity for that.
Agreed.
Dasha's a no. Any other new people? Liv Morgan, obviously yes. Mandy Rose, obviously yes. Nia Jax, I think you can guarantee her. Nikki Cross?
I would say yes.
And then Tessa Blanchard was technically signed to NXT?
No.
Yeah, they have her on the roster for some reason.
I thought WWE, well, maybe in her younger years they did put her on the roster.
From April to June 2016. That's fast.
You don't say.
Wonder why. And then we're already in this new era section here. So again, it still applies to some people in the past because they just created these belts. So Abby Laith is a no. Aaliyah Mysterio is a no. Adriana Rizzo is a TBD. A lot of these people we don't know yet.
Alba Fire is yes. I'll go. I'll vote for it.
She's still a TBD. They could easily give her one of those belts. Aaliyah James, though, no. She didn't get far in NXT UK.
I would say no.
Same with a male. Amari Miller never got anywhere in NXT. Anybody who's like in the NXT sphere and then got released is obviously like a, Angel Hayes, no. Dre DeMarco, no. Ariana Grace, for all we know, could win the NXT Women's North American Championship. Could win the NXT Women's title. Could win any of these championships going forward. She's TBD. Maybe with those people, we should say whether or not we think that they're going to win championships while we're at it.
I can. I can get down with that.
So I do think Grace is going to win a title at some point.
Yes.
A title. I don't know what.
All the titles.
PFAB I do not think is going to end up winning a championship.
I'm sorry. You meant Ariana. You said Grace and my mind went to Jordan.
Yeah.
That's why I said all the titles. But Ariana could win a tag title.
I could see her winning one of the now 6 singles titles.
That's true. There's a lot of them now.
I don't think BFAB will, though.
They seem to really like giving her a chance.
Bailey, Becky, Beth, Bianca, yeah, you know. Blair, clearly not.
I mean, she's the right candidate for the job.
Something happened there. Not. Yeah. She must not have been well liked. It's got to be. But she has to be the one that Nia Jax was talking about.
I'm not going to speculate.
I fully will. I think it's her. Prove me wrong if it's not anybody. Brindley Reese, she's TBD. Brooklyn Barlow didn't get anywhere.
She was a ref, right?
Barlow? No, she wrestled.
Yeah. No, but they made her a ref.
Did they make her a ref? Is she a referee now?
I swear.
She listed as just gone. Are you just thinking about the new blonde ref?
Oh, was that Paige Prince something?
Prince Bally's or something. She was like Christmas Candy or some kind of name like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a referee for a little bit. I don't know anything about her other than she was a referee for a little bit. She really likes Christmas. That's about it. Candy Floss never got anywhere. Carly Bright's a TBD. I don't know pretty much anything about her, so I can't really even speculate much about her future career. Chelsea is champion, so you know.
Yeah. Carly Bright, I would say TBD, but my mind is leaning towards yes.
I'm leaning a little bit more towards no. Cora, I'm surprised, has not done more. But then again, when you get injured, them's the breaks, you know?
Yeah.
Dakota Kai, man, talk about somebody that I like.
Want to.
I want them to give her something. And you know, she's got another shot at Lyra Valkyria, but like, for what? Like, she's not going to beat her. So why she have to lose again, you know?
Yeah, you never know.
Danny Luna, no. Danny Palmer, she's not having a great career.
I'm going to say no to no on that one.
Palmer's, she came back from injury and then just like disappeared, right? She even still employed?
I'm almost certain.
Deonna Purrazzo. If they would have had the women's mid-card titles around, maybe they would have done something with her.
Let's see. I'm looking through. You know who would have been a great choice for this, but obviously no. You look at a name like Indy Hartwell. Would have been a great mid-card champion. Not gonna be. Isla Dawn, same thing.
Ivy Niles still TBD. Somebody like Io still could.
Ivy Niles is a weird case because we can talk about this real quick. They keep pushing her as the top challenger for Lyra, and then having her not even get the match.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Maybe they really want it to go to Dakota.
Ember Moon, there's somebody who would have flourished.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to be fair, she's basically doing that now.
Yeah.
She's Ring of Honor Women's
It's
Champion.
Ring of Honor, and she's held the title longer than anybody and all that, but it's Ring of Honor. And it's Ring of Honor under AEW. It's the NXT Championship.
But she has been champion for 800 days, so God bless.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you take Ember Moon, who I still maintain their mistake with Ember Moon was she didn't beat Asuka. If she would have beaten Asuka, they would have had something more. But they had her specifically not, and then they had her lose, or no, she won by DQ over Shayna, and then lost to Shayna. It was like, you didn't care about Ember. But when she went on the main roster, if they would have had a women's mid-card championship for her to contest for, I think she would have won that. I think they would have given that to her and had her build up some steam.
Yeah, and I think honestly, Ember Moon, that whole black and gold era, everybody knows how I feel about it. I think that was like the best era for WWE and especially NXT.
Not as much for the women's division in a lot of ways, but that kind of has like an ebb and flow.
Well, but I completely disagree with that. 2019, what were they doing? They were normalizing headlining pay-per-views.
Who's on top of 2019?
Becky.
Nah, she was in the main roster.
Oh, are you talking just
NXT?
In NXT. So that was the year that Shayna had it, and she was killing everybody.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. Erica Yan.
Who the hell's Erica Yan?
You don't remember Erica Yan?
No.
She was in that group that they signed a bunch of people for a while and they just kept them around, and it was like, you clearly aren't going to do much with them. But she was the one that she had like a mouth tattooed on her hand. And her big thing was like holding that up in front of her hand, in front of her mouth.
So like they're all grouped together, and I was just thinking 2019, and I was like, I know I didn't know Erica Yan know 2019. That's because she's a newer name.
It was Erica Yan, Valentina Feroz, and
Ulysses Leon.
Ulysses Leon were like the three that they were like, they all came in at the same time. They all did fuck all. And then they just slowly but surely released one by one.
So like Ulysses Leon's doing great now. And just Lucha Promotions.
Good for her.
So there's life after WWE for some of these ladies.
Yeah. Fallon Henley already has been a mid-card champion. Sky's the limit for her. She's great.
Agreed.
Frankie Monet did not go anywhere in WWE.
Frankie Monet is... like, I feel bad. I've done this twice now. Ironically, with the two women that are currently in a group together called the Vendetta, I think both Deonna Purrazzo and Taya Valkyrie are main eventers. At least in the case of Purrazzo, I think the best days are ahead of her. In the case of Valkyrie, I'm not sure anymore. But I know for a fact that when Frankie Monet came in, I was like, bam, she's going to be the next big thing.
I thought so too.
And then she wasn't.
Not at all. I mean, I hated the Frankie Monet name, but I was like, well,
frankly, money.
Like, they could have done something with her for sure. And they didn't. Like, sometimes people come into these companies and it's like, did you really actually want to sign them? You know? And
she also got shafted because, like, it was in that weird era where they were just getting comfortable mass releasing again.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible shame.
Gigi Dolan.
Who the hell's Francesca Brown?
Ring announcer for NXT UK. So it's a lot like Katy Perry.
Yeah, I was like, I'm like staring at her like, that's amazing. Gigi Dolan could be. But I know we're going to have different answers on that.
I don't know. See, Dolan... things aren't looking great for Dolan. They don't seem to really, really want her to be like a thing. They just want to kind of keep her around. And I'm wondering why that's the case. If it's a matter of them thinking that she is like... maybe she needs to like mature a little bit better in the ring, or maybe she is like untrustworthy with like injury stuff or something, but sometimes people just they take enough hits that they lose their stock. And it happened to New Hartwell. It seems like it happened to Isla Dawn. I don't know about Gigi. Getting a little bit worried about JC Jane too. Like,
it's bullshit what they've done to her. Mainly because if you remember, like in the days of, and I'm talking like it's forever ago, but actually at this point it's like 3 years. NXT 2.0, Toxic Attraction was a huge deal.
They were arguably carrying the show.
When they, like, there was a point where Mandy Rose was like one of the best parts of NXT. And when JC turned on Gigi, that was given the Rockers treatment. Like, it felt like it was going to be a big deal, and they just, never mind. We want even now, Toxic Attraction again.
She got the whole Fatal Influence thing. They've been teasing that she's going to turn on Fallon Henley, and it's just not happening. And if it happens now, it'll be like, all right, well then for what? I hope JC turns things around. I like JC.
I like JC a lot too.
Jade.
We've seen Jade do this.
Yeah. So
Jade can do this.
Jada Parker absolutely should in the future.
Yes.
Jakar Jackson, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say I do not think Jakar Jackson is ever going to win a championship in WWE.
You mean singles, correct?
I don't even think necessarily the tag titles, to be honest.
Oh, they're going to win the tag titles at some point. I'm confident they will be tag team champions. Singles, the jury's out, but she and Lash will be tag champions.
I don't know. I'm getting a feeling that they're going to split them up at some point, and it's just going to be Lash that they push.
You think she's the peanut butter and they want the jelly that is Lash Legend?
Now, is she more jelly? Is she more jam or preserves?
Definitely not preserves. I'm a jelly guy.
So far, Jasmine Nix is not giving me future champion vibes.
So I want to be careful with my wording here. I think valets are a good thing. And I think so.
I'll say it for you, because if you're worried about saying this, Jasmine Nix is hot, and she is somebody that is gorgeous. Like full blown like Instagram era. Like, I don't know why she's not a bigger deal as far as like modeling and stuff.
But like my thing specifically for wrestling in this era is like, you know how Samantha Irvin was like, yeah, I was good at ring announcing, but I wanted to do more. Maybe there's some people who are just gonna be great valets, and we don't know because we're not giving them the chance to be a really bitchy valet, because we're like, well, they have to be like at least a 7 out of 10 in the ring to exist now.
Nix is somebody that I wouldn't be shocked if she doesn't make it to the main roster. If they nix her at some point.
Yeah, you got it. But no, like I think, and another thing, I thought about this the other day actually, as I was watching some old wrestling, and I was like, they used to like pair people together for like on screen like romances, and it would just be like Edge and Lita, like they were together, right? But then for a lot of that angle they weren't, and it was still just a good energy of like, hot guy, hot girl. I think some of these people would benefit from that as like, okay, they'll be remembered as a great act. And they
like really Jasmine kind of filling in like what Scarlett does with Karrion Kross.
Right, like Jasmine, and you're like, oh, we need someone to give an extra boost to I don't know. Cutler James. I don't
So
know why that name came to mind.
Here's a booking idea. I don't know what he's like in the ring or anything right now, but that BJ Ray guy, if you want to get him over as the next Miz, and you want it to be like this obnoxious douchebag is like getting a lot of heat, give him not only Jasmine Nix by his side, but at least one other girl where he's got like one on both of his arms, and make it to where it's like, yeah, I call myself Sexy BJ Ray and I'm a douchebag, and look at these hot girls that I pull.
Yeah, and it's like that. I do like the Ashante the Adonis thing. I don't want to. I know I just said they don't really do the pairings, and they're currently doing that with Carmen and Ashante, and I think it's good. I think it works. You know, like I think sometimes you need that kind of presentation. You know, and I think it's important not to shy away from it. Not that I'm saying Jasmine is like bad in the ring. I'm just saying I wonder if she'd be better suited in that role.
Jasmine in this era doesn't get the job done. Jasmine in another era, people go fucking nuts over.
Right, like Jasmine in ring as a character during the Divas era, one of the best.
Jazzy Gabbard, I'm surprised they didn't do more with her.
Yeah. Remember Jessamine Duke?
Jessamine Duke, jeez. Yeah, Duke and Shafir, man, they signed them just to appease Ronda Rousey, it seems.
They signed them, and don't get me started. I'm gonna go on a whole tangent about like
4 horsewomen.
Fucking 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen. Just do it. Like, and no, we got time.
We got time. Well, we don't really want to. If Triple H was in charge, they would have done it, I think.
Yeah.
Jessie Kamea, she was fun for a little bit, but
I enjoyed her.
Yeah, didn't work out. Ginny, if she couldn't win the NXT UK Women's title, like
no. Say the name right.
How did they? Oh, they were always like Ginny.
There you go.
I was like, wait a minute, what? Yeah, that's the era of Ilya Dragunov.
She's currently out of the business and happily married to the World Heavyweight Champion and happily a mother. I don't know why I said that like I was
Jordan Grace obviously just showed up. She's going to win all the titles, as we said.
Kairi Sane should win a mid-card title.
Absolutely should. Callie Armstrong, we haven't seen anything from.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Callie Armstrong will absolutely win at least a mid-card championship.
Carmen Petrovic is now going to fight for one next week. I like Carmen.
Casey Catanzaro. I think she could.
I don't think she will at this point.
But you can agree with me that she could have, right?
She could have, yeah. If they would have had the mid-card titles before, I think Casey could have, yeah. Specifically, she would have been a really good contender for the Women's North American.
I agree.
Katrina Cortez, not
Catalina.
The case with her. She did not have a good run in WWE.
Fucking amazing now.
Which is awesome to hear, yeah. It's always better when somebody has a bad run in WWE and then they can just be like, yeah, I'm actually used better elsewhere and I figured it all out now and all. So good for her.
What was the deal with Kavita DeVee? Wasn't she like the most viewed woman in WWE on YouTube?
Something crazy, right? And they had her show up like 4 times.
They always made sure that like she was in something because the Indian fan base would just go crazy, and it worked every time. She's at WrestleMania. Like she got a spot in the Women's Battle Royal.
It's so crazy how much they pander. with like, for a little while there, it was like the Saudi Arabia deal was like, let's bring a bunch of them in and not do anything with them. Let's bring people in for this India deal and not do anything with them. And like, if we could ban corporate speak and people just had to say that stuff, you would never have this. Because you would end up being like, so what do you think about this? And it'd be like, oh, well, we don't actually plan on using them. We just really hope that maybe these people in the Indian markets are going to pay attention for that. And then that would be over, you know?
No. We have to talk about global localization.
Global localization. So dumb. Let's see. Caden Carter. I don't think at this point Caden's going to end up winning a belt. No. Like, she had the tag titles. I think that's going to be it for her. Kalani, though? Absolutely. She already has.
I mean, she was the inaugural NXT Women's North American Champion.
Kendall Gray, I haven't seen anything enough from her to really be like, oh, she's going to win something at some point.
Absolutely will.
Kiana, I mean, when the hell is she going to return?
I don't know, but if she ever returns, there's 2 wonderful mid-card championships for her to win.
If this was a video podcast right now, you would have seen my face just go, okay.
That's what I meant.
Read between the lines, everybody. Killer Kelly. Man, I liked Killer Kelly.
Yeah, she's great.
But realistically, she didn't get pushed to NXT UK. They wouldn't have pushed her elsewhere. Kaya Saint, I don't remember her, but she didn't get anywhere in NXT, so no. Lacey Evans definitely would have won.
Yeah. Women's US champion.
Yep, absolutely. Lainey Reed, I don't know.
Who's Lainey Reed?
She's on the roster now. She's like one of the Performance Center people, I think.
Oh, is she one of the Level Up girls?
I think so.
All right.
Same with Layla Diggs. Lee Laurel is in like LFG.
He's on LFG. I saw that promo.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Lash Legend, she probably will win a belt at some point.
She will.
Liv Morgan or Lola Vice will. Be crazy if she doesn't. Lyra Valkyria is.
Yeah.
Shafir obviously did not. Maxine Dupree, I don't think that they're going to give her a belt, but they could.
She could have a fun little run.
I think it depends on how long she sticks around.
I hope she sticks around long enough to get a run.
Me too. I like Maxine. And she seems like a real sweetheart too. Like,
yeah,
like
just a
Sydney,
nice person.
You know, the girl outside of Maxine Dupree character, like genuinely seems like she has tons of friends on the roster and all. Like Morant's an interviewer. No, Mako Satomura, of course.
Mako would have been fun.
They never pushed Mercedes Martinez like they should have. Fucking awful retribution angle.
Michin should get a run with the US title.
That's going to be sickening if they don't end up giving her a belt at some point. She's too good to not have won any championships in WWE.
Insane. I completely agree.
MJ Jenkins, nope. She didn't go far. Miley Grace didn't get a chance, really. Talked about mostly everybody else so far. Nikita Lyons, I don't know if she got to stick around at any means. Nita Samuels, no. Persia Parada, no. Piper and Niven, man, it'll be weird if Piper doesn't win a mid-card title at some point too.
I think she could.
She really should. She should be one of the possible options to dethrone Chelsea.
I would be a fan of it, but I do want Michin to just get her belt.
Raquel is another one. If Raquel doesn't win a mid-card title, then that's proof that they just don't see anything in her.
But she has a back.
New Tamina is not something you want to be.
It actually completely let go of the back. You said that to me on Monday.
What, new Tamina?
And I was like, that's a crazy thing to say.
It was what, New Tamina against New Bailey?
New Bailey, like, wow.
Is it not true though? Is Raquel not just in the Tamina spot right now?
I hope not. Like, first of all, Tamina should have done more. And there was a moment where Raquel was doing more, like
NXT Women's Champion. And instead, they just, I don't seem to really want to do anything with her. They give her a tag belt every once in a while, and then a week and a half later, they get rid of it every time. She's like allergic to championship gold.
I hope she's more successful now. They seem to be really leaning into the whole, all right, I'm just going to do Diesel. You know, like, well, that works for me.
She's like, I really got an idea I want to go with here. I want to be Diesel. If, you know, we could do like a Diesel and Shawn thing, like Liv is Shawn and I could be Diesel. And they write her down and they're like, all right, well, that's great. So New Tamina is when she's like, no, I didn't say New Tamina. I said New Diesel. And they're like, okay, so New Tamina.
New Tamina and AJ Lee.
Fake Diesel, you know. Rachel Ellering, no. Ronda, no. I'm going to say no for Ronda. I think Ronda, the amount of time that she was there, she always was just hovering around the world title.
I think if she would have fallen in love with wrestling, I'll take that back. If she would have gotten in now, post-COVID, where they're only doing, but, you know, maybe 2 house shows a month, I think she would have been okay. She
maybe
tried
getting in with Triple H in charge too.
Yeah, because she got in when they were still doing like house shows all the time, and she did the house shows. I think that took a toll on her.
Let's see, Rose is still on there. Roxanne, yeah, obviously. Rosemary shouldn't count. I don't know why she's on there. Ruby Riott, I think she would have.
I would like to say yes, but also, you know, time and history is saying something else.
I think Ruby would have. She was prominently used, but they didn't care enough to give her the main championship, but they used her a lot. Mid-card title, yeah, they would have given it to her. Santana, no. They never really liked her, it seemed. Saray didn't do anything. Scarlett, no. Who's the secretary?
What was her name? Giovanna?
Giovanna Borneo? Yeah, that's right. So, no.
Why do I do that? But I don't, like, that stuck out in my brain.
Shayna Baszler should. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shotzi should.
Really should.
Sloane Jacobs. That sounds familiar. Who the hell was she?
She was the Notorious Mimi. She'd come in as like the first wave of the 2.0 people.
She got like quickly released, didn't she?
And she was in the breakout tournament. And then she got released.
So Rucka, she better at some point. Stephanie Vaquer, already a champion. Stevie Turner, when the hell is she going to go back to wrestling?
Is she going to go back to wrestling?
Yeah, that's true. I wonder why that's the case, that they just have only had her as, like, why does Ava need 3 different people helping her out? 4 different people helping her out, if you count William Regal.
I'm the only one that cares, but I also thought, like Ava should have tried harder.
Wrestle?
Yeah. Like,
I think she was trying as hard as she could.
I don't know. I think that there could have been something there, but she's doing good in the role she's in.
She's better now than she's ever been. I still don't think she's really great at it, but if she would have came into this role the way that she is now, you wouldn't have heard my complaints before. Like, we've had far worse general managers. We just also had way better ones, too. But Stevie Turner never really did much, which is, like, kind of interesting because, like, she had a couple moments where I was like, oh, maybe they'll use her in this. Maybe they'll do something with her. And
I wonder if she was going to be NXT Anonymous.
That would have made a lot of sense. She had that whole...
She was the whole screwball
screwball thing, yeah. Screwball, for anybody, no, we're talking about Spider-Man, for anybody who's not aware. They've kind of dropped NXT Anonymous lately.
Maybe it's because the person who was screwball on it just decided not to do it anymore.
They said, screw this.
And they sure did.
Tatum Paxley, I'm getting worried that she's not going to end up winning anything.
She's good. I hope that they give her something.
Tainara, she sucked in NXT and she got way better in AEW.
Yep. Sure did. Tegan Knox should have absolutely been a fucking mid-card champion. It's a sin that she wasn't.
Snake bit from the fucking start, man. Over and over with her. Shame. Thea Hill, they still don't... Like, what the fuck's happening with Thea, you know?
I really hope she's on Evolve at least.
You gotta do something with her.
Yeah, don't release her. She was great.
Tiffany Stratton, already world champion. Could very easily win a mid-card title at some point.
At WrestleMania.
Yeah. Toni Storm, I feel like, is a guarantee. She would have if she would have stuck around.
Yeah, maybe she will one day. She's timeless.
Tyra May Steele in the future. If she can get the personality going, like, she has personality, but if she can translate that to a character in the ring, sky's the limit for her. She seems great.
I agree.
Valentina Feroz, no.
Valhalla?
No. Vanessa Bourne, unfortunately, no. I liked Vanessa, but no. Gotta be honest.
Wendy Chu?
I don't think so at this point.
Could have at one point, but probably not now.
Ren's dropped off, which is a shame, because I like Ren.
I think she could do it one day.
Di Brookside, no. Xia Li, man, massive improvement at one point. And then they just were like, well, we don't really like her. They make their minds up for certain people, and they just don't give them a chance, you know?
If NXT 2.0 doesn't happen, and they're doing the... fuck, what was the name of it? Oh. The Mei Ying.
Xia Li, and Boa.
Yeah.
Oh, God, what was the name of the group?
Oh, my God. It's going to bother me now.
It was... Was it Tian Sha?
Tian Sha, yes. Yes, it was. It was Tian Sha. Yeah, Xia Li would have been something.
Yeah, Tian Sha.
Shawn Michaels touted that on a media call, and then they fucking scrapped it.
Crazy. Alyssa Leon, no.
No.
Glad to hear she's doing better elsewhere. Zarya got a hell of a chance to win lots of titles. Zeta Ramir, nope, not at all. She was like, fuck this place, you know?
She was AQA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know what's happening with her, but kind of seems like she has an attitude issue if she's like multiple different companies.
I think it was the whole, like, I think wrestling took a toll on her mental health.
Well, you're thinking of, what's her face? The other girl.
Wasn't it AQA?
You're thinking of, oh God, what's her name? She's in the A's. Amari Miller.
Oh. No, that's somebody else.
Amari Miller was the one that had said that she like went through like a depressive episode. And...
Yeah. No. I know that, but I also think AQA had a...
Oh, she did too?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know about that. I thought it was like that she was like, oh, I like fuck this place to like both AEW and WWE.
No, I think it was more like just like fuck wrestling, like it's unhealthy for me.
Ah, hopefully she figures it all out and gets that sorted out. Zelina Vega, it'd be criminal if she doesn't.
It'd be criminal.
Always been a big. I've always liked Zelina to even when she was Rosita. I remember being like, I like this girl. She's got a lot of potential for the future. Go for it. And man, still not like I want her to win the proper championship, let alone mid-card titles, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And I remember when she was managing Andrade and everybody was like in love with what she could, oh my God, she's adding so much to his matches. She's such a good promo. Like, Zelina Vega is criminally underutilized.
Hell, I remember when she was in Adam Rose's Rosebuds. And we're doing the podcast one day. I forget if it was like a live thing or forever. We were all just like, yo, who's the B? Jesus. She's yeah. But like Zelina, she's earned it. Like she better win championships. Xena Sterling, too early to judge.
I hope that she does. So far it seems like they like her.
She seems to have a really good athletic background, but whether that can translate
she got the moment with Gunther being like, nobody wants to see a Barbie, figure it out.
Yeah, I didn't like the gimmick of her trying to do that because it's like you can't have too many of those same characters. And I don't think she pulled that off.
You say that, but that was literally the 2000s.
True. Can't say I loved it though, And then we have Zoe Stark, and
yeah,
Zoe is somebody who I'm getting nervous that they're not going to end up giving her a belt, but they really should.
They better. She's great.
So really, overall, I mean, lots of people that it would all depend on all the other elements. Is this going to be the way that we have like the 4 horsewomen and, somebody like Becky is winning the championship for the mid-card titles instead of the world title at a certain time. Obviously, some people who won championships wouldn't win as many championships because they would win mid-card titles instead. Some people would win mid-card titles that never won anything. And some people would have really, really benefited. And it could have changed their entire careers. Same as if there would have been 2 mid-card champions for the men. We talked about if there was 2 world champions for the men, and we always talk about like, Razor Ramon and Mr. Perfect and Goldust and British Bulldog and all these people that never won that. Like Roddy Piper would have definitely at some point. If there would have been more championships for women, same thing would have happened.
But I also think the culture would have needed to be different.
Yeah, I don't think that the women's mid-card titles could have existed until now, basically.
I completely agree.
At most, maybe they could have gotten away with it in the past couple of years. But under Vince, I don't think that like, look at how he took the tag team division. He was basically dragged kicking and screaming to creating those tag titles. And the way that he announces it is, Merry fucking Christmas. Here's your tag titles. I don't want to do anything with them, but now you have them, you assholes. It's like, man, you don't fucking like the women's division at all, do you? So I don't think that any mid-card championships for the women would have really excelled or been utilized properly until right now anyway.
And like, we have our fun with how silly it is, but it is also criminal that there are so many women that got underutilized because there just wasn't more opportunities for them. And I feel like at least now we're in an era where hey, we got like 3 women's matches on Raw last night. Or not, yeah, last night. And I think that that's better. I think that I'm not gonna say that's the way things should have always been, but I think it's important going forward that you keep that up.
There really is no reason for the women's division to not stay at this level and also improve.
I would like to see them go back to women headlining pay-per-views. You know, let's get some more meaningful feuds in the women's division. I want to see all the growth because right now the women's division of NXT is carrying the show. Carrying the show. The whole idea is, well, NXT's got the best women's division, and that's all you need. And it shows that you can do these things without having to need it be an extravagant song and dance. They can be the main event just because they're the most important match on the show.
It's something that's going to be interesting to see going forward, how having extra titles in 2 years, for instance, if they've just been like, we really don't care about this, or if that opens up so many doors that it's like, it's crazy to think that we never had this before.
I think it's going to be the latter. I mean, look at the Women's Royal Rumble. Can you imagine, you know, wrestling without that now? Don't you just expect it now?
Yeah.
Or a women's, you know, Money in the Bank. It's crazy, but like 10 years ago, that wasn't a given.
Yeah, no, there have been women like Sable who have been like one of the most popular characters that were on the roster at that point. Like Sunny, of course, super popular. Chyna, super popular. But like you compare them in that era to like Bianca and Rhea. Like Rhea alone is like practically a bigger mainstream star than most, 99% of the roster.
I mean, crossover appeal. Like she just so happened to come across during a time where, for whatever reason, people really are into being dominated by goth chicks.
Yeah.
Like it's just one of those things where sometimes the vibe fits the era, and Rhea is in that era right now.
So at least that is the general concept of what we're going for this what if. Maybe we want to fantasy book something in the future. I don't know. Maybe we do something else on this front in some other capacity. I don't know. We don't have any plans for that. Just like how we didn't really have a plan going into this. It was just like, let's just talk about it. But if you do want to see us do something with this concept of women's mid-card titles, you got something in mind? Brainstorm with us. Drop them in the comments below. No idea what the next what if will eventually be, because what if is one of those things that we kind of just pull out at random. It's not like a fantasy draft thing where we do it all the years, or something like the fan outs table or Hall of Lame. Like, we come around to doing some of these things all the time. What if? I don't know. So what if we do something else next? I don't know. I do have that, like, what if people were Pokemon trainers, and what if they had Pokemon types? I still might do something with that next week. It's kind of up in the air as far as, like, I don't know how to format that video, because it's like I can't just show you a picture and go like, all right, well, this is Cody's team and he's this type and that's it. So I don't know. We might play around with that in some fashion, but the next main event, at least for sure, is going to be the WWE Elimination Chamber predictions. Because that pay-per-view is coming right around the corner.
I can't believe it's been a month already.
Isn't it insane? We're not far off from it being just March.
Yeah.
Some ways I like it, in some ways I hate it.
Chamber is March 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one thing I am excited about is the clocks are going to go forward, and then the days will be longer.
I like it better when it falls back.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to be that kind of a guy. I'm not that kind of a guy anymore because these days when I see the sunset, I'm like, oh no, another day is over, and I need more time. so I'm excited for the spring forward.
I'm kind of giving up on having more time.
Yeah, well, that's very clear. If you would like to buy us more time, you can donate to the Patreon.
Clock's ticking, everybody. I don't know how much time I have left. Yeah, so, I mean, you stay tuned. You'll figure out what's happening with the next whatever we have. I mean, at the very least, we've got hot tags coming up on this Friday, or maybe we recorded on Thursday night again. We've been doing some night recordings. It's 1:20 in the morning right now, for anybody who's wondering. So maybe we do that Thursday night again. We'll see. Kind of depends on our schedules. But hot tags around the corner. We got everything that you can find on the link tree, of course, as per usual. So go ahead and follow amangotree.com. All those different accounts you can find there. Tony Mango at a lot of them. Make sure you follow my Rob stuff too.
Yep, you can follow me everywhere at Dude Felice. That's Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. I want to make a Letterboxd. I'm dragging my feet with that, but I want to start watching more movies and using that as an excuse to just quickly write stuff, because I want to write more that beyond my job. I mean, because I write enough, but beyond my job.
Speaking of that, apparently I woke Caroline up today. The way that she phrased it, she was like, "You woke me up 2 minutes before my alarm by typing on me." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, you were like furiously typing something." And it was just like on my back.
Like in your sleep.
Right. And I was like, "Well, you didn't ask me what article I was writing? What the hell?"
See that?
Can't escape it.
It's a haunting job.
Yeah. Yeah. So follow us all these places, and we will see you next time, everybody. It's been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out.